21-17, the final score from inside Beaver Stadium as Penn State falls to Michigan on Saturday afternoon. Mitch Gerber alongside linebacker Ellis Brooks. Ellis, what's your biggest takeaway from this one?
We just got to finish. You know, Michigan's a great team. We play hard. We just got to finish that four-quarter game, come out on top.
The margin of error in a game like this is so small going up against a Big Ten opponent. How can you grow from that?
Just try to take the corrections in film tomorrow, make the corrections on the field, and just get better and grow from it, to be honest. It's like that every single game. You just try to pick up what you didn't do too well at and try to grow from there.
As one of the defensive leaders of this program, you guys came back out on the field in that second half, specifically down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Take us through that stretch where it led to an AK forced fumble.
Well, I'll start off by saying AK is a big-time player. Everybody knows his pass rushing abilities is second to none, one of the best in the country, so that's a huge play. But before that, I'm trying to remember, Jesse slowed him down, and then we got a TFL, then AK got that strip sack. That was a huge play. Everybody, we run into the ball. So I love my team, I love my defense. That play shows how hard we play. Look how many blue shirts get to the ball right there,
This was a back-and-forth contest, including a 52-yard field goal by Jordan Stout at the end of the half to make it a 7-6 contest. What adjustments did you guys try to make at the break?
At the break, to be honest, we were out of position in terms of our alignment to a couple of formations. So we just wrote down those formations, got everything right with the X's and O's, and made sure we were sound when we went back out there in the second half.
On the offensive side of the football, how tough for those that aren't in the locker room is quarterback Sean Clifford, who took some hits today?
Yeah, I mean, Sean's a competitor. You can tell that from his workouts, from the way he approaches the game, from the way he loves the game. He loves his team, he loves his program, and I feel like he embodies that every time he steps on the field.
That's linebacker Ellis Brooks joining us on the Unrivaled Postgame Show. Ellis, appreciate your time. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
17-21, the final score here inside Beaver Stadium as Ellis Brooks wraps up his interview with us on the Unrivaled Postgame Show, and we'll now welcome in head coach James Franklin here in just a moment as you get a live look outside of Beaver Stadium. Following today's game against Michigan, joined by head coach James Franklin. Coach, what are your key takeaways from this matchup?
First of all, Michigan's a good football team. You got to give them credit. I thought defensively, we fought our tails off all day long. Limited explosive plays, obviously some big ones there at the end. Offensively, we were able to move the ball, but settled for field goals. Not enough touchdowns, obviously. Special teams, I thought we were aggressive in trying to go win the game with some of the fakes. Obviously, the one that didn't work, obviously you'd like to be able to execute that better.
You mentioned the defensive side of the football. How did you see that unit collectively step up down the stretch?
Yeah, I thought overall they battled. I was checking the time of possession. It was pretty even, but I thought we did a pretty good job of limiting their explosive plays, limiting points. We needed to get a few more turnovers. We were able to get one, but we needed to get some more to swing the momentum.
You mentioned the special teams aspect of things. Obviously, Jordan Stout hits a 52-yard field goal before the half, sets a lot of momentum for you guys at the break. How can you learn from those small margin of errors?
Yeah, it's everywhere. You look at this loss today, as well as some of the others. It's a few plays. We had some opportunities to make some plays. We left them out there on the field. We got to find a way to come up with them. Obviously, we got to be able to run the ball more consistently. But our guys battle for 4 quarters. There's obviously a bunch of things we got to get corrected.
From a ground game aspect, how did you see Kevon Lee step up in some of those situations?
Yeah, I don't know what the stats are right now, but I thought overall, we were able to run the ball a little bit today. We really have the last couple of weeks. We need to create some explosive plays in the running game, and I don't think we've had many this year.
As you close things out in the locker room today, what was your message to the program?
That I love them, and I'm proud of them, and we just got to keep battling and find a way to get a win next week and be 1-0.
Coach, appreciate your time.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
The rest of your evening. 21-17, the final score here inside Beaver Stadium as head coach James Franklin closes things out for us on the Unrivaled Postgame Show. Visited with linebacker Ellis Brooks a moment ago, one of the big-time leaders on the defensive side of the football for Penn State University. Talked about bringing up his teammates versus calling out. Head coach James Franklin also mentioning the facts, obviously you got to close out in crucial situations and stuff like that. And special teams, those little margins of errors are so small in a game like this. 21-17, the final score. Let's go back through the highlights quickly before we wrap up this edition of the Unrivaled Postgame Show. Here we are in the first quarter of the game, 11:51 on the clock. A fake field goal, or a fake punt rather, 18-yard completion by Jordan Stout to set up this field goal, 47-yard good there, 14 plays, 51 yards, 5:04 off the clock, converted on 2 third downs in that fake punt. Michigan would punch right back, 21-yard touchdown reception, 15 plays, 90 yards, 7 minutes and 20 seconds off the clock. Big time defensive stand there on 4th and 2 for Penn State's defense, and then Penn State's offense would come back out on the field, just as we were talking about with head coach James Franklin. A big time drive here by Penn State at the end of the first half. This was a 44-yard reception by wide receiver Parker Washington that would set up this 52-yard field goal that would swing the momentum in Penn State's favor. 6 plays, 28 yards, 1 minute and 4 seconds off the clock. Michigan would come out of the break, make it a 14-6 game after a receiving touchdown by Wilson. This was the momentum changer for Penn State late in this game. 7:36, Tyler Warren with his first receiving touchdown of his career, and then Jahan Dotson able to capitalize on the 2-point conversion for Penn State, makes it a 14-14 contest, a tie game. And then it was AK, as Ellis Brooks was talking about. He's one of the best defensive ends in the entire country, coming up with his first strip sack of his career. Forced fumble right there for number 17. That would set up a 31-yard field goal for Penn State to make it a 17-14 game. And then it was Michigan that fought back with this play right here, a 47-yard touchdown reception, 6 plays, 75 yards in 2 minutes and 26 seconds, as that's where this game would end. 21-17, the final score here inside Beaver Stadium. Lots of coverage from start to finish with this one. If you missed the Unrivaled pregame show earlier today, go back and watch that one, as we had plenty of interviews, including an exclusive with Blake Gilligan, who was talking about the special teams aspect of this game and of this program and how it shaped him into who he is today. But if you missed that, please go back and watch that. Next week, we'll be back with the Unrivaled pregame show before Penn State takes on Rutgers here inside Beaver Stadium for Senior Day and Military Appreciation Day as well. That's going to do it for this edition of the Unrivaled Postgame Show, as Penn State falls 17-21 inside Beaver Stadium.